The movie opens with Zoe, who seeks a confidential session with Dr. Marcella Spencer, a therapist. She shares the events of the past 6 months. Despite having a loving husband named Jason and a satisfying life in every aspect, Zoe still feels unsatisfied. To satisfy her desires, she starts watching romance movies and using toys. She owns an art gallery company called Zoe and Company. One day, she receives a brochure from her best friend and assistant, Brina, showcasing the work of Quentin Canosa. Zoe likes the work and attends the exhibition featuring Quentin's art. She is captivated by his talent. Quentin also shows interest in her and flirts with her during the event. They exchange contact information and plan to meet again. Zoe continues to engage in other illicit affairs. She visits clubs while lying to her mother about going to the grocery store. One night, after having fun with Jason in the bathroom, Zoe dreams about having fun with Quentin. The next day, she visits Quentin's studio to discuss a contract for him to join her company. Quentin signs the contract without hesitation. As Zoe prepares to leave, Quentin tries to seduce her. She resists initially but eventually gives in to Quentin's charm and allows him to do anything with her. Zoe's affairs and subsequent guilt begin to impact her work and family life. She misses her son's soccer games and becomes absent-minded when Brina informs her about a potential client who has been trying to set up a meeting. Determined to end the affair, Zoe visits Quentin's place once again. There she encounters a young woman named Diamond, who is familiar with Zoe's name and offers to answer any questions about Quentin. Zoe locates Quentin and confesses that she can no longer continue their relationship because she is in love with Jason. Quentin then takes her to see some of his street art, revealing that he turned to painting as a way to cope with his father's suicide and his mother's abandonment. He expresses his longing for companionship, which leaves Zoe feeling guilty. Despite her guilt, they end up having fun once again. As a result, Zoe misses a meeting with the potential client, but manages to catch up with him later, lying about taking care of her sick daughter. The client agrees to reschedule. Despite her guilt, Zoe continues her affair with Quentin and even allows him to paint her without wearing anything before they enjoy their time again. In the present scene, Dr. Spencer diagnoses Zoe with a severe addiction. Later, Zoe asks Jason if they can see a therapist to address their marriage problems. Jason refuses as he is unwilling to pay for personal discussions. After another round of having fun with Quentin, he asks Zoe to leave her husband and be with him, but she declines because she still loves Jason. However, this doesn't prevent her from going to a club and catching the attention of another man named Corey. They start having fun in the bathroom. This additional affair with Corey continues whenever Zoe cannot be with Quentin. Consequently, Zoe's relationship with her son suffers as she misses his final soccer game of the season, causing him to lose trust in her. At work, Zoe's performance has declined, significantly leading her employees and Brina to notice and express their dissatisfaction. Brina confronts Zoe, criticizing her for letting a few clients slip away without seeming to care about the consequences. One day, Zoe catches Quentin and Diamond having fun that angers her. She storms out, leaving Quentin. Later, Jason confronts Zoe about her late nights and absence from the family. Zoe tries to blame Jason for staying late at work, but he defends himself by revealing her whereabouts. Zoe goes back to Quentin's place, but their fun moment is interrupted by a knock on the door. Zoe hides as Jason arrives to meet with Quentin for business. While looking at Quentin's artwork, Jason accidentally discovers a covered painting depicting Zoe and Quentin in an illicit position. Before he can see it, Jason is called away by his partner. Zoe questions Quentin about whether he intended to prevent Jason from seeing the painting. Feeling excluded from her family's activities, Zoe is left behind when Jason takes the kids to the movies, and the kids themselves don't want Zoe to join them. Following Dr. Spencer's advice, Zoe arranges a meeting with both Quentin and Corey to put an end to the affairs. Corey becomes annoyed and tries to push Zoe, but Quentin steps in. Corey decides to leave, but Quentin grabs a sculpture and hits Corey over the head. Quentin then approaches Zoe aggressively, but she breaks a glass on the floor, causing him to step on it and cut his feet. Later, Zoe rushes from there and hides behind Quentin's paintings. He grabs a sharp object and starts chasing her. However, before Quentin can harm Zoe, Jason appears and hits Quentin, revealing that he knows about the affair. Then Jason leaves and Zoe follows him and tries to talk to him. He tells her that he is leaving her and taking the kids and that she is dead to him. Devastated, Zoe decides to fulfill this claim by walking into the path of a car. She gets into an accident and Jason runs to take her to the hospital. The next few months, Zoe is recovering in the hospital while her family worries for her. Her company officially closes its doors. Diamond takes care of Quentin in his place. In the hospital, Zoe has a flashback to herself as a girl being attacked by a boy, giving her the scar on her wrist. She eventually is able to go home and her kids are happy to see her. However, Jason is still hurt and feels he can't keep pretending like everything is okay. Zoe goes to an addict support group that Dr. Spencer invited her to. There, Zoe opens up about a traumatic childhood experience where she was used by men. Jason steps out from the next room to hear what Zoe has to say. She breaks down in tears and admits her problem, but she still loves Jason and wants to make the relationship work. He goes over to her and hugs her, and they repeat their motto: "Our love is forever and always has been and always will be."